Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Beach FM, great to welcome back the Kapiti representative on the Greater Wellington Regional Council, Penny Gaylor. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, John?
I'm well, and I know that you're busy because we're pre-recording this because we couldn't do it live. You're actually chairing at this very moment in time the Environment Committee.
And as a multitasker, as many of us are, but that would actually extend beyond my capacity to chair a meeting on Zoom with goodness knows how many screens of people, as well as do your interview live. So appreciate us having a chat ahead of that meeting this morning. So yes, chairing the Environment Committee. Of course, the last time I chaired the Environment Committee, back in person with my posse around the table in Wellington, with our staff and media and members from the public in person. So just one more week back into the Zoom meetings, and then we'll be out of it next week, we hope. So we're looking positively to next Thursday will be the Transport Committee. Word is that we'll be doing that in person, which is always really nice. So today's Environment Committee, let me think, about 220 pages plus type thing agenda. Lots of sort of the belts and braces of the Environment Committee work today, with just sort of updates on various bits and bobs of sort of actions underway, and a review of the Wellington Region Navigation and Safety Bylaws 2009. So these things have to be reviewed every 10 years, and then you get a bit of a lag time. So we're getting near the end of the lag time, so we need to put it out very soon to our community for consultation. So a bit of an update and a refresh, as times change and new things are happening out on water and new sort of focus on different kinds of safety. So that will be being kind of talked through and explained to us this morning for our Environment Committee, and then hopefully if all goes well with that, we'll then put it out to the community for consultation. So that's a good one for us here to look out for on the Kapiti coast. We've got a keen interest in water and fun on the water and fishing in the water and keeping people away from water who we don't want to overfish our lovely Kapiti Marine Reserve and stuff. So generally more about harbour safety, but just points of interest for us all, because we this is sort of how a good sort of sense of our lifestyle, isn't it, as Kapiti coasters. Yes, and then other matters around regional flood protection, asset management. So, pretty, I don't know why you're not all zooming in and listening to your station. So then we've got some more National Resource Management Direction focusing on action for healthy waterways and the influence of our submission. So, it's a good nearly 90-page agenda item, that one. Then we've got a floodplain management plan implementation annual report, so our staff reporting back to us about how things have been going, some flood hazard modelling standards, and then a bit of oral feedback to us around the Whaitua program and how things are going there. And all that stuff actually builds to a couple of really cool events that I'd love to encourage people to get to coming up. So in a fortnight's time, on Wednesday the 23rd of September, is the Otaki River Walkover. So we start at 8:30, meeting at the Regional Council depot in Otaki, and then not quite a walkover, we actually hop on buses. And because it's a really big river and we want to get you up and down there kind of checking out all the really good points of interest. So that's kind of an 8:30 to 12:30 event, and we usually have about 4 busloads of people. Quite the event on the Kapiti Coast calendar. And then, of course, another couple of weeks after that again is on the Wednesday, the 7th of October, is the Waikanai River Walkover, actual walkover. And again, we kind of walk the length of the lovely path that the Regional Council puts through and alongside the river, various points of interest, starting at 8:30ish in the morning. Goes a bit longer for that one because we actually walk it, and we end up out at the estuary. So Both are very different experiences, both really interesting. You'll learn lots, meet people, come along with a buddy. It's just it's a great outing, and it's there as us organised by Regional Council to engage and report back to our community. And the really cool thing is you ask whatever you want to ask about whatever we're doing there. And we have staff on hand who are the ones doing it, the ones planning it, the ones responsible for it, that we can actually ask the questions that, points of interest, or actually, slightly challenging about, like, well, I would have thought you would have done it like this. Can you explain to me while I'm here, why did you do it like that?
Yeah.
And it's really useful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Useful for both sides, I should imagine.
Absolutely, because, we all have different ideas based on our different experiences, different kind of experiences of being a different kind of user of the river or the river walkway and all that sort of thing, and our different views about what's a good plant, what's a useful tree, and what's an annoying tree, and where to put it. So this is the time when we're actually face-to-face, not emails, actually face-to-face, and have the conversation about it. Really constructive days for both the Otaki River and the Waikanae River. So, gosh, I think for the Otaki River, I remember first going on them when I was on the Otaki Community Board.
Yep.
Then I did a couple of terms on KCDC, now in my second term on Regional Council. So, goodness, would this be about my 12th one in a row? Something like that. So, and every time it is different. So, because you stop at different places, things have changed.
Yes, indeed. The river moves, doesn't it? It's a very dynamic resource, a river.
And plants grow, trees grow, and you kind of go, oh, did we plant that a couple of years ago? Oh my goodness, look at it now. So, and then you meet some of the volunteers who are involved with the Friends of the Rivers groups. Lovely to see them, because it's a day for celebration for them as well. Yeah. Because they're very much hand in hand working with the Regional Council on the restoration work we're doing for our rivers. So,
and don't they do a stunning job, that group?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Both the Waikanae lot and the Otaki lot, great group of people. And for those who are, finding themselves a little bit of extra time on their hands, very positive groups of people to get involved with. We like that. And then also you get to do something that's actually really useful, and you can see it week to week how useful it is.
Wonderful. Penny, I know you've got to go shortly, but just going back to the very first point you brought up about the maritime legislation you were looking at, or the regulations.
Bylaw.
Under those bylaws, do we have any harbours on the Kapiti coast?
Well, no, not technically, but, aren't we plotting?
Oh, okay. So that's exactly what I was talking about. Because you can imagine that by the Parramatta roundabout, the Mana, that could be considered to be a harbour. And I was just wondering whether the Otaki River, because there are boats who sort of anchor up there every now and again, whether that is a harbour in the eyes of the legislation.
No, so it's not actually referred to in the bylaws, but that's kind of the reason why we actually have this come to us in a committee before it goes out to consultation, because that's exactly the lines of questions that I'll be asking, given we've pre-recorded this, but I was intending to ask, because I thought there were also some areas of kind of the kinds of craft, I guess, that I see people using that aren't mentioned and referred to specifically in the bylaw, like wakaama and holopuni. And of course they're out on a waters here, but they are actually racing them, like in the harbour, Poirua Harbour and the Wellington Harbour. And so that's the particular line of questions that I wanted to explore with staff. Like, we actually seem to be quite detailed with things that we are mentioning, so why are we not mentioning these things? Because we mentioned jet skis and all that stuff. So there's certainly some things that we want to add to it from that I'll be asking and my 12 other colleagues. And that again is why we go out to consultation, because then we might not have thought of everything, and I want people from our community to put the hands up and give us the heads up about, well, hey, we've got really busy with this. We're experiencing here on the Kapiti coast, particularly up in the Otaki area, where we've got the shellfish trawlers, and trawling along there outside of the scope of the marine reserve. But again, that's the stuff that wasn't on our radar 10, 12 years ago when the bylaw was first put in place. So an example of how things do change in terms of practices, whether it be recreational activities or actual harvesting for fishing, for selling to communities. So things are ever changing, not just in terms of the actual environment scope, but our use of it and what we're in there doing. So these are why it's really good to fully review our bylaws, but also in consultation with our community.
Great stuff. I better let you get on with in that case. Thank you very much for sparing us some time this morning. Penny Gaylor, who is Kapiti representative on the Greater Wellington Regional Council. Thank you, Penny.
106.3 Beach FM.